Now starts the Rebbe's beer in really the main point of the Maimer, the Eitzer, being the Eirin stuff. But what aspect of the Eirin stuff, as it were, what mile of the Eirin stuff? Not the inning of the Mata din Tachlis, but the mile adin Ketz, and that does not mean Giloi, but it means, in the words of the Frierdiker Rebbe, Helem ha'eir shebehelem achar helem ube'iloi achar iloi. We essentially explained what that means in the previous Yurim. The Rebbe is going to elaborate. Second paragraph is Bais. But it's about Shem Tov, right? The Rebbe brings in the Yud Shvat Memorim of all the Rebbeim. So it's explained in Baal Shem Tov, Shnitva Bekesser Shem Tov, which is printed in Kesser Shem Tov, okay? Because there's also Baal Shem Tov's Torah is printed in Tzavas Rivash, and also quoted stand by his Talmidim. So this is printed in Kesser Shem Tov. Why the Rebbe has to point it out, the Rebbe knows. But Pirush HaKosov said Baal Shem Tov teaches Bereishis Borelikim Es. Bereishis v'trigim Targum Yonason, so he teaches the word Bereishis b'Chachma. Shehu Ois Aleph. Chachma is represented by the letter Aleph. K'Moshe Kosov, as the pasuk says, Aleph Chachma, I'll teach you Chachma. So you see, Alephcha produces Aleph Chachma. Continues the Baal Shem Tov, Nisatev boy. So the Eibishter enwrapped himself in the letter Aleph, which is Chachma, in brackets, B'Seich Ois Aleph, Ubora Oir min Ois Aleph. And he explained, and he created Oir, which also starts with the letter Aleph, V'hu Oir Atzilus. That's the Darga of Atzilus. And then enclosed with now Ois Aleph, but a further being wrapped, as it were, and that's Ois Bais. Ubara Olam Abriya. Then he created the descent Olam Abriya. Ois Gimmel. And then from the Aleph to the base, now it wrapped, as it were, in those Gimmel, in the garbed. Garbed would be the word. And he created the worlds below Bria. Until he descended to be garbed in Ois Tes, and created the lower worlds. And that's the meaning of the pasuk. From Aleph till Tov. Bereishis is what? The inyan of Chachma. So he created with Chachma from Aleph, which is Chachma till Tov. Chav Beis Oisias. These are the 22 levels, letters. Aleph Tov S. Min Aleph. Tov, from Aleph till Tov. Well, Baal Shem Tov continues, and in all of it he invested his ruchnius, so that's called Shamayim. Shenisatef and his labish HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'seichav beis oisius elo. They wished in so two Lashonis here, garbed and clothed in these 22 letters. Or Boris Oretz, he's explaining the Hemshach HaKosev, the continuation of the pasuk. Bereishis bara lekim es hashamayim ve'es ha'oretz. To l'chayda es hashamayim is not really adding anything. L'chayda, it's just saying that the ruchnis is not just kelim but oir. It's vague. But in the creation from Aleph till Tov is the inyan of what? Ruchnius. And in the end, Ubaras Aretz, the final step is the creation of the earth. Shekol in Yonei Chaymer Aretz, that incorporates, includes all the coarse materiality of the universe. Shuhu al yedei daled meyos levushin. These are the 400. It's not just 22, but it's really 400 because the numerical values are also significant. Min aleph ve'atov, because tov is 400. Shu eretz hatachtis. So the final thing is es hashamayim ve'es ha'oretz. Yeah, it's all direct quotes. It could be es hashamayim ve'es ha'oretz. So there's the chav beis oisius that produce ruchnius, and then the chav beis oisius ve'es ha'oretz that produce the oilimus. It could be, again, it's Baal Shem Tov, it's cryptic, it's vague. So then the end is Oretz, Eretz Tachtis. This is the lowest world chain, Lamati Mena, which there's nothing lower. The Baal Shem Tov continues. Explaining the psukim. Then the Eibishter, it's interesting expression. It doesn't just say then God concealed himself. It's Chazar. He returned. He left. Could be here's the remes. I can't say Pirushin Baal Shem Tov's words, but we pointed this out earlier that the way the Fidig Rebbe explains the Tzimtzum, based on the Yitzchayim, it's not just henceforth the Eir does not project, but when it's Alim, it becomes incorporated retroactively, withdrawn as it were, Batz Musay. So that's kind of also conveyed in this word Chazar.
I mean, we're also talking Baras, Gila, creating, so in context, like, there was an element of Gila that, the creation of the universe, and now.
So what's Chazar?
Chazar means Gila and Helen.
Why does Chazar mean Helen? Chazar could be returned to do anything. It could be Chazar and Megala. He says Chazar, when you started. At any rate, whatever the beard is. So then the Eibishter concealed become so in many covers, become a clipfin and literally many shells. The inun, these are expressed in the words in the pasuk Bais, Toyo, Vavoyo, V'cheshach U'Sahim. Literal translation, Toyo means astonishingly formless, or Voyu. Rashi say they're also the same thing. V'cheshach, and dark with the home and depth. I forgot the Voyu, Toyo, that Rashi says a person is astounded at its emptiness. The Baal Shem Tov continues with so that's what the pasuk says. The land was desolate, formless and desolate. Yeah. The cold there continues the Baal Shem Tov Nasa the Bereshis Bar Elikim Shem Elikim Bereshis Bar Elikim Shoyin Agvura Vatzimtzum. That's the union of Gevura and Tzimtzum. Atkan is the words of the Baal Shem Tov. So we see from here, that's what Rebbe is bringing it, step one. So we see from the Baal Shem Tov's description that this is Shem Elikim, but hide the Shem Elikim, hide the pre-Tzimtzum, is Gili Ein Sof. Commission maybe lahalam ba'maymer, like he says in the Maimer, the Fidig Rebbe Sher Oid Elyon Poshut, that pre-Tzimtzum was the simple supernal light, Mamala Kol HaMetzius, filling all the Metzius, all the entity. And he goes on to say the Fidig Rebbe, V'chagach Nisamtzim Nistabish Oid B'kamal Levushin, Canal. And then Hashem conceals his revelation in many garments. These are the words. End quote. The concealment is in the lack of light and the lack of revelation. What's the two? As I said that, we asked what the difference, and here the Rebbe says. Let's see what he answers. That the concealment and the Eloi, the ascent, literally, manifests in two ways. Heder ha'or, lack of light, literally, heder ha'gilin, lack of revelation. Is it not saying the same thing? No. Heder ha'or haino, the lack of light means shesilik or yalatzad, a complete removal, as it were, in the words of the Eitz Chaim. He said again, this is deceptively simple language and open to gross misinterpretation. So we have to be very careful and tread lightly. He removed his light to the side. That's what Heder ha'or means. Heder ha'gilui, lack of revelation. So he puts, I mean, this is so physical. That's why it is so open, completely the misinterpretation, but it must be expressed this way because that's the starting point for our understanding. So what is he saying now? That even the place that he puts the oil, Gaval, there's no place, there's no putting oil. This is all metaphors. We have to strip it of its physical imagery. But let's just get the words first. That's how we start. So even the place where he places, where the oil is found, the light is not revealed. What does that mean? How could, if it's oil, it's not begiling? But that's what the Fittig Rebbe is saying. And also, even at this point, what exactly have we gained from the Baal Shem Tov's whole Torah? I have to think about this still and learn the Maimer, and we'll see. Well, without comment. But still, and with this, he explains in the Maimer, in the Mailer Madi and Ket. This is what we just said. Had the Gilo, had the Oir. Kishemshin is by Lifnis being Lamata din Tachlis. So we explained the Chiddush of Lamata din Tachlis. He's now explaining the Madi and Ket. Now, what exactly have we gained? So L'chayda, the Rebbe is still going to elaborate. We don't have more explanation here than we had before. What did he conclude? He quoted the whole Teres of Hashem. Zembuven, it is Ein Sof Begilui of Neyatzim. That's all he's coming to tell us. We don't need the Baal Shem Tov's touch for that. Akaponim will leave this unanswered. Again, the truth is, you teach a Maimer, the one that teaches it should have learned the whole thing thoroughly before. But we're learning it together. So what can I tell you? You'll have to suffer with my open-ended shyless. Let's continue. So l'chayre, he doesn't mean to end here with what the Baal Shem Tov is telling us. We're going to go further. V'yesh l'hoisev. So till now, it's still a mystery, and he hasn't really. We said the essential explanation, what it means, but the Maimon has not stated it. The Maimon has not stated the Eloi in the Maila of the Tzimtzum. The Maila Adin Katz. Again, let's please remember this. Without the Fittig Rebbe's taich, the way the Zohar was understood for the hundreds of years that the Zohar has been around. The Maila Adin Katz means Gilui Oil Lifnei Tzimtzum, endless, infinite light. Pashut. We explained already why that cannot be the Pshat. Because it's Pashut. And just like Lamata Mata Din Tachlis, which I will not repeat again now, is a Chiddush, so too Lamaila Mata Katz has to be a Chiddush. And not Stam, that God's infinite light is revealed Lifnei Tzimtzum. What's the Chiddush? This shocking statement, the Tzimtzum. That's Ein Sof, that's Maida, that's Eloi. This is what the whole Maim is going to explain. And then we started. We gave several times, I hope you remember, the essential answer, without having to learn further, praying to the good Lord that we're saying what's right. I mean, overall, it is correct. It's explained in general in Chassidus. I'm hoping, the thrust that the Maim is going to spell it out for us too at the end. But we'll have to see. But this is the oitzer that's given. So again, what did the Baal Shem Tov contribute to our understanding? To be seen. Be'ezer Hashem. Yesh l'hoisev. So continuing now, being in a tzimtzum v'helim l'may that in cats, the tzimtzum that ascends higher and higher without end. Let's have a look. Al pi ha'mavur b'teiras harav ha'magid. So now he brings the Magid b'rimzei Torah Parshas Ba'aloischa. The Sefer Rimzei Torah Parshas Ba'aloischa. Ala pasuk, the Eibishter tells Moishe Rabbeinu, "Say lecha shtei chatzotzes kesef." Make for yourself, you that belong to Moishe Rabbeinu, 2 silver trumpets. Says the Magid, this is quoted often in Chassidus, we've had it many times. HaKadosh Baruch Hu asa kamet tzimtzumim. The Eibishter made many concealments, many filters, derech kama olamas, through many worlds. Why? Kedei sheyiyeh, what's the objective? Achtos ima adam. Because he wants to be united with the person. So he needs to have the tzimtzum for that. Kedei shaloi, not kedei. Shaloi yochel lizbel is behirase, because a person, if the Eibishter would not make the tzimtzumim, a human being, a person would not be able to bear his brilliance, his behiras, his brilliance. Another word. Okay, we can't me. Brilliance, I mean, as in light, as in the intensity of the light. So that's number one. They used to make tzimtzumim. What do we have to do? And the person has to divest himself of material things. Brightness. That's the word. Such that he ascends. Here, he got to ascend through all of the worlds. And then he becomes one with God. Continues the Magid, and then he's a mensch. He just got the definition of a mensch. Someone who divests himself, Mikol Hagashmius, that he ascends through all the worlds. And then he's called an Adam. What's an Adam? Ki Adam Shalamata, before a person ascends, Hurak Dam, he's flesh and blood, Dalid Mem, he's missing the Aleph, the Baal Shem Tov's Aleph, Chacham. What's Dam, blood? It's a remez for Dibru Machshav, speech and thought. But when he ascends and attaches himself to the Eibishter, he goes from Dam to Adam. When he connects to the Eibishter, the Magid now introduces, he also said that before the Bashant was the Pasuk Aleph Chachma. Here the Aleph also alludes to the Eibishter himself, as in Aleph means aloof, master. The master of the world, then he becomes not just Dam, but Adam. That's the pshat in the pasuk. These are the 2 silver trumpets. How so? The word chatzoitres is chatzi, half. The person alone is incomplete, is half a form. Sharak dalad mem is only blood or dibra machshav. Aleph levad, and the Eibishter being Aleph is also lonely. Kavayachol. Gam kemen etzura shleim. Aleph is not a complete form. Man's incomplete and God's incomplete. Kavayachol. Amdam kishi is dab koyachta, when they unite as one, attach themselves as one, then nas etzura shleima Aleph dalid mem, complete form. End of the word of the Magid. Now the Rebbe says the same word he said about the Baal Shem Tov. Move on. What are we getting from the Magid? I'll make it a thing. So how did this whole relationship, how did the whole Adam, how do we arrive at Adam? Started with the tzimtzum. Because if there wouldn't be tzimtzum, the Hashem's brightness and brilliance would overwhelm us. So what do we see? Move on. And even though there's kama tzimtzumim, helem achar helem, concealment after concealment, because malkim nonetheless ein ze be'ofen sheir ein shaykh lamakim shebei misalem, doesn't mean God disappears from this place. His revelation disappears. Behind the shein shaykh legilu klal is no revelation. Eletachlet sekavane here, the whole point of the tzimtzum sheyum shecha eilamad. that his revelation relate to the person on his level. Moreover, the Bais shall is achtos in the way of unity. Shetifal Bais primi, that the God's revelation penetrate him. That the person without the relationship with God, he is merely flesh and blood. Now, through the tzimtzumim and his avodah, if he doesn't respond in avodah, it doesn't happen. But through his avodah, which is only possible, lachar tzimtzum yishber durch berech and it's kol hagashmi shaloi. So now he is empowered to break through, strong words, all his gashmis, v'yala melamata l'mayla, and ascend from below to above. He remains, of course, he's not dying. He's remaining here in Ilam Hazbet, he's ascending and connecting. Ad she'ischaber in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, till he unites with the Eibishter, Shezehu Aleph, he's the Aleph, Alufa Shel Olam, Befen Shel Achdus, in a way of unity, Tzura Shlema, a whole form. No. So how are we clearer, how are we smarter, now cleverer, how are we understanding deeper as a result of the Magid's word? The key point of Mizeh is, he says, that even though in the middle of the ice, even though that's in Tzumim, doesn't mean the God's removed. He's present. Doesn't mean he's not shaykh to Gilui Klal. He is. Tachlis, it should come, the revelation, the relationship should be expressed in a way that he can absorb internally and then ascend. Okay? Right? Everything's on this as a jigsaw puzzle a little bit. Okay? We have the Magid's Vod, put it down. Let's keep on going and see how it all gels together. Let's go further. Mamshich b'maymer. I mean, the way to learn this Maimon really is to learn the first whole thing through. Hear the Oisias. Say, heard everything he said, then reload it again. And so we're kind of doing this together. Not kind of, that's what we're doing. Mamshir Maimon continues in the Maimon, the Hine, Fnei Atzimtzum, Hoya Eir Ein Sof, Begilui. Pre-Tzimtzum, that Ein Sof has revealed the Commission Cost of Yitzchayim. Like it says in the Yitzchayim Terem, Shenetza Netzolim, before the Netzolim emerged. Olam Atzilus. Hayoir Elyon Poshut, there was one simple, uncluttered, uncomplicated, undifferentiated light. Mamalis Kol HaMetzios V'chulu, filling all the entity. Through the Tzimtzum, the Eir Ein Sof becomes concealed, withdrawn. So move on. So this understood that Inyan Noisef, a new thing. Let's analyze these words. The Tzimtzum only affects, it's already a second darga. The Tzimtzum affects only the second darga. The oil that was Mamala Eskol HaMetzias that fills all the Metzias, whatever that means. But certainly we're talking about Metzias, existence on some level. That's already not a given. That's a second. That's already produced. And Lifnei Tzimtzum, the oil filled all the Metzias, and the Tzimtzum now plays upon the oil. But that's only the oil that filled the Metzias. What about the oil in Sof and its Shoyrish? Tzimtzum doesn't touch. But the way the oil in Sof is above in its source, within the Eibush himself. Okay, these are just words, friends. Let's get the words. Shisham leishayich loima. There, you cannot say shahoya oid elyon parshat memalis kol metzias. If we're speaking about the oid in atzmos, you can't talk about metzias. There's no metzias that the simple light would fill. Sharisham warakin yayicheles. It's a potential for everything, but not the actual. There's no metzias. So there, as at that level, I shaykh gamina tzimtzum, even the tzimtzum. So the oir, if you like the etzem oir, the etzem oir, as opposed to the ispashtus oir, the manifestation which fills the metzias, it's in the ispashtus that is the tzimtzum. In the Etzemai, there's no tzimtzum. Friends, these are just words. We got to get the words straight first. Let's go further. Now the Alter Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe explains at length in Torah in the Lekutei Torah. You just know what it says. The Oisius Aleph Gimmel, Aleph Bais Gimmel. So these are the Maramakamis that the Rebbe gave L'chatchila to this Maimer. And the numbers are what the editors have given us, the sources. It's not Muga, but it's kind of Muga. Because Ayuz Gimmel tells us that it's our goal, the Rebbe Rashab. That's interesting. In the Maimon Torah, Reishis Pashas Vayera. All right, it's a note there. What does it say? This is whole, you know, the tzimtzum and the mokim cholol, the vacuum. The empty space in the vacuum. All of that is where Rakbar, Ava b'moir, or the etzemoir, the moir, leishayich tzimtzum chas v'sholem is not shayich tzimtzum in the moir. In the luminary itself in the source. So when it comes to oil, which is shaykh by ispashtos, if we're talking about manifestation, then shaykh begam tzimtzum. If it can spread, it can be contained. And that therefore, when we say that the tzimtzum that was on the oil, the result is nishar mokim poni v'cholol. There remains this empty space. That's only relative to oil hispashtus, the manifestation. Before it was revealed, pre-tzimtzum, in a way that it filled all of being, all of the being. There couldn't be oilimus, because it's of its brilliance. Of the light, the Maggid said. And then this light becomes concealed and empty, a vacuum is the result. Pirush, what it means is, in conclusion, what's missing is revelation. There's no ispashtus, no revelation. About the source of the light. Even after the tzimtzum, the source remains revealed and present and revealed everywhere. How so? Gewalt, yeah. Like he says there, even children know sheyeshem malika motzui. That's Lashon Rambam. They know that there's an Eibishter. You don't have to teach it to them, and you don't have to explain it. You just talk about God. They didn't talk about God. And they just respond naturally. Why? Because the Moir is Nimtza B'chol Mokim. And that is why, famous Lashon, the Alter Rebbe, Shezau Inyan Shem Shamayim Shogr B'Fikoil, and the name of God, Shogr means it's habitual in the mouths of all human beings. You don't have to teach about God. On the contrary, child right away relates it. Then later, Mekashis and Tilutzim and the denial, Chas v'Shalom, can kick in. But that's unnatural. The denial is unnatural. Knowing there's an Eibishter is natural. So, answer this question. Why do human beings naturally believe in God? What's the answer? Huh? Because he's there. And he's there, present. The Moya Nimtza B'chol Mokim. He's present in all of his glory, more than glory, in his essence, and therefore he's present. And therefore they believe, more believe. It's just instinctual that there's a God. It's even more I believe in. It's a given. It's complicated after. Okay, so Gewalt, beautiful. Okay, what exactly has the Magid added after we revisit all of that, the Vashem, the Magid? But I just want to tell you, he's going to ask in the next ois what we asked at the beginning of the Maimer. And we answered it. Why the Eibishter does not, b'megala, at the outset, his koyach bli gvul and gvul. Why is the Seder first bli gvul and tzimtzum? It's all him equally. Okay, so that's be revisited. Friends, we have to hold reserve conclusions. We're like children now. We're like the real Talmud, knows nothing. And the Rav is speaking. So, head to head. Let's listen. In the end, we'll try and put it all together. All right, friends, so we made up. Remember, we're going to start exactly 7 o'clock. So let's go to Daven. Have a wonderful day, everybody. So the Stoivus. It's okay. You heard the Oisius Harav. Let them percolate.